Today on Your Questions Answered, I'm going to be answering a question of how do you determine what the sawtooth is on your saw when you're dealing with very, very small toothed saws such as this 20 teeth per inch gent saw. Hope you enjoy. This question seems like it's pretty straightforward for people that have been into sharpening and everything, but maybe not for others that haven't. Now, I get this question every so often and it's quite surprising, or I'm a bit surprised that I get it as much as I do. So first of all, I think we need to have a look at the profile of a cross-cut tooth and a rip-cut tooth. So to do that, we're going to head over to the whiteboard and then I'll show you actually what we're looking at on the saws themselves. But I just want you to get the basic understanding of what you're looking for to start with. So first of all, we're going to look at the rip, which is, well, it's a lot more common than the cross-cut, but they're both quite common, but you do need them both. So the rip-cut in its profile is going to look something like this. So if we have the heel here and the toe here, we're obviously going to be cutting on the front of the tooth. So at its most aggressive, it's going to look something like this in theory. So a square front, angled back, because this is like a set of chisels. So it's square right across the front. So looking from the side profile, this is what we get if it's at its most aggressive. You can set it back a little bit like this, so it's a little more upright, but generally most rip cuts are going to be set at this deadbolt upright, 90 degrees sticking straight up. If we go to a cross cut, once again, heel, toe, it's going to look a little different. Now, I find that a lot of people sharpen these wrong, and in my mind, the way these work, because they're a series of knives, you can't really make it more or less aggressive by changing the angle of the tooth. You can only make it more or less aggressive by adding or removing the amount of teeth. So, what we should have in a side profile with a crosscut is what's known as an equilateral triangle. So we have even internal edges here adding up to 180. So that's the basic profile here. But let's have a closer look at the crosscut, because we know how to spot the rip cut now, but the crosscut is still a little different. We can see the triangle, but there's another thing that you need to look out for to try and determine it. So we have our triangle like so, and because it's like a knife, we have a sharp point right at the top here. We have a bevel running in here and a bevel running in here. So we have a cutting point here and a cutting edge down both sides. Now this alternates. So we'd have it on this one, we'd have the bevel, no bevel, bevel, no bevel, bevel. First of all, we're going to look at the rip cut because this is going to be the easiest to determine. So, and I've actually got a whole range of large to smaller teeth on the rip cut because they're the ones that are going to go down to that much smaller size, generally for something like a dovetail, whereas a cross cut's not generally going to go down as small as a rip cut. So what we've got here is a 5 teeth per inch, and we can clearly see, well, we've got the handle here, so we know that this is the heel and this is the toe, and we can clearly see that front square part on the front and our sloped back on the back of it, and so we can easily determine that this is a rip cut. It's not that difficult. So let's take it to a dirtier saw and up to 10 teeth per inch. So if we get our eyes close enough, we can still see that front part and the slope on the back. It's still that same rip cut design. And I hope you can actually see that nice and clearly and easily on here. So what I've got here is now a 15 teeth per inch rip saw still. So we can see the square part on the front here, and I'll blow this up larger if you need to see it, but you're looking for that square front and the slope back, which can still be seen on this one. And now we're going to go up to what I only have one saw for, and it's only in a rip cut, and I just don't advocate going this large because not only are they hard to sharpen, it's difficult to see what the actual saw is. But they do leave a nice smooth cut, so that's why some people like them. But there's a few other issues with going to the size, but we won't tackle this. We'll just look at the sawtooth. And then we have this 20 teeth per inch. So I hope you can see here the sloped back and straight front on these little teeny tiny teeth. I know it's not the easiest to see. It's even hard for me to show you it with this sort of magnification, but hopefully you can see that. And it's once again in that same profile that we've been talking about. So if we look at this crosscut, we can clearly see we sort of look like they're more of a point, and they're more sloped on the front and the same on the back. So the sloped angles are actually the same, or should be the same on nearly every single one of them. And you can see alternating here, hopefully. We've got bevels or no bevel for you. We've got bevels on this one, no bevel, 2 bevels, no bevel, 2 bevels, no bevel. And this is one that I've sharpened myself, and you can see that those triangles are a lot more equilateral. Once again, bevels shown all on one side, no bevels all shown on the other side. And it's more apparent with the crosscut. The teeth that are pointed away with the bevels look slightly smaller than the teeth that don't, and that's because with the angle of the bevel and then it's bent away, it is essentially as an optical illusion smaller. So that's another thing to look for. Once again, in this process, getting that light right up behind it and having a really good look across it. So you're not looking into the actual light. If I show you here, you're not looking into the actual light. So the light's in the center there. You're going to come up like that with it and then view across it. And I find this is the easiest way, especially with very, very fine set saws. That's the easiest way. Now, with these ones, like this, that are a little bit smaller, you can just sort of tip the light away a little bit, and you can see I'm just looking down across it, but the saw plate itself is covering the bulb. The other thing is you can get out in the sunlight, and sunlight is sometimes much easier to actually see, especially for our eyes. There's a lot more ambient light if you've got a lot of sun. I know some countries might not, but if you do, that can actually be another great way. Just getting out in the ambient light, because that sunlight, it's going to get into your eyes. There's more, and it's just going to be a little bit easier. I'm not saying look up at the sun with it, but just the ambient light when you're outside from the sunlight can sometimes allow you just to see the saw a little bit better. So there you have it, folks. I hope that helps those of you that are struggling to determine the sawtooth. You're really, as I said, looking for that pattern of the sawtooth, especially in these small ones. Getting that extra light behind really, really does help, and magnification if you really do need it. Even if it's just a set of 3 times magnifying just vision glasses or something from the drugstore, something like that, that can actually go a long way. Or even more advanced magnification things that hook over your head and you pull down, that watchmakers and stuff use, that might also help you. But what I've found, especially with my eyesight, is that light makes the biggest difference. And although I don't have the poorest of eyesight, I still don't have 20/20 eyesight. So if you like this video, please do like and subscribe down below. While you're down there, do sound off in the comments. Let me know if you have any other tips and tricks that you use to determine what the profile is of your saw, especially on these fine 20 teeth per inch saws, which I don't advocate for, but I know a lot of you have them, so do sound off if you have anything else that you use to determine these. And also, let me know if what I've shared with you today has actually helped, because I'm eager to find out if it helps you and it's not just me that it helps. And if you'd like to see another great video such as the one you've seen here today, do check out the playlist up here where I actually have all of the Your Questions Answered videos, and we'll also shove a video up here on sharpening hand saws. Bye for now.